2
The time of revolution. Battle 1.
だったそうです。
Decide the destiny.
さすがオープンがやることは違うだろ。オープンがマジかんやろあれ。コパンから下がり空港決めて流星ザンビザシ裏回り空進師昇竜分ジャイザシコパン昇竜分ジャイザシコパンコパンコパンブーコパン昇竜分
Combos are one of the defining elements of the fighting game genre. You win neutral, and you earn a chance to play a mini rhythm game on your opponent's face. But they're a very divisive part of fighting games, and I often hear people who don't play fighting games tell me that they're intimidated by having to learn combos. So let's talk about what combos do for fighting games, and why they're worth learning to love. The most common complaints I hear around combo systems usually follow one of these patterns. I don't want to memorize a bunch of button presses. That doesn't sound like fun. I don't like being stuck in hit stun for a long time. I just want to play neutral. Or, I don't think I can learn to do combos. Most people who sit down to play a video game want it to feel fun and playful, and when they're hit with something that feels like work, like practicing unfamiliar movements or memorizing attack sequences, that fun can turn to frustration. So why are combos so important to fighting games? When you play neutral, you look at the screen to check your position, predict where you think the opponent is going to be in the next second or two, and move to attack that space. Each character has many attacks in their kit, and each attack is defined by a risk-reward calculation in both space and time, by the hitboxes, hurtboxes, and the startup, active, and recovery frames. For games that don't emphasize combos, like Samurai Showdown, Dive Kick, and Smash, the main thing you care about is whether your attack is going to beat your opponent's attack, and your goal is to pick the attack that wins with the most damage. It's a lot like single-point sparring in traditional martial arts, where the fighters are reset to neutral after someone lands a hit. A game with a good combo system adds depth to the neutral exchanges by giving the game designers the space to design attacks with a much wider range of risk and reward by giving each attack different combo potential. This way, when you're thinking of which attack you want to land in neutral, you don't just want the first hit, you want the sweet big damage combo payoff. Yeah, you could be winning neutral more often by landing a bunch of fast attacks, but if they don't do much damage, you'll have to hit a lot more of them. In martial arts terms, it's like going from a single point rule set to fighting for a knockout like in boxing or Muay Thai. When attacks can have a wide range of payoffs, then there will be some attacks that tempt you to use them even though it might be a bad idea, which adds a lot of richness to the core combat design. Having space for these kinds of tempting attacks creates room for players to communicate confidence or desperation based on how they use them, and it allows their opponents to punish them for being greedy. Now, combos aren't the only way to differentiate attack payoffs, but they do it in a really cool way, because the payoff is dependent on the player's skill. Unlike Dive Kick, where every hit immediately KOs, and Smash and Sam Show, where attacks are mostly differentiated by damage and hit push, games with rich combo systems force you to earn that extra damage through study and practice. Combos give you more damage, but you have to earn it. After that first attack in neutral, you need to recognize that the attack hit, check the screen to see which combo you should do based on the screen position, and then execute the combo appropriately. Some games will even check to see whether you have specific optimizations based on character state, screen position, character size and weight, and scaling in damage, hit stun, pushback, and gravity. All this work is important for fighting games because it is what allows players to differentiate how hard they hit. In real fighting, different people hit with different power based on their strength, speed, technique, fighting style, but in fighting games, my Ryu standing heavy punch does the same damage as yours. With combos, if I work harder than you do, my hits can do more damage, and I can keep you in hit stun longer. And if my hits do more damage than yours, you'll play neutral differently because you won't be able to take as many hits as I can. Through combos, every hit in neutral has a lot more depth and richness, not because of hitboxes, frame data, and damage numbers, but because the players can earn bigger payoffs through practice. Now, if you're a combo complainer, you're probably thinking something like, yeah, and I don't want to practice a fighting game, I just want to play it. And that's really the most valuable thing that combos contribute to fighting games. A fundamental promise of fighting games is that the player who works harder should win more. Not all the time necessarily, but more often than the player who works less hard. Being good at fighting requires you to not only make smart decisions, but to make them very quickly, and you can earn the right to make even smarter decisions by getting faster and stronger. This stuff is work, and the fact is that most people don't start out playing fighting games and think, wow, I love doing all this stuff I'm supposed to do to get good. Fighting games test us to do so many different things to get good. We have to practice combos, we have to study matchups, we have to learn how to ask strangers for help, we have to reflect on our mistakes, and a million other things that people generally find uncomfortable at first. Very few people come to fighting games and think that every single part of the experience of learning to get good at them is uncomplicated fun, and this is a critical part of what makes fighting games valuable and beautiful. Because it means that everyone who plays them shares in the central experience of having to push themselves to do something they don't think is fun in order to improve at a skill they care about. In other words, it's a sport. When I go to a Guilty Gear tournament, I'm surrounded by people who all agree that Guilty Gear is so cool that it's worth working to get better at. And that shared understanding alone is often enough to make strangers into friends. And when those new friends hit me with a combo, I know I'm hitting the lab as soon as I get home, so I can hit them back with a better one next time. And that makes the combo practice a lot more fun, because the work that I do will be the fuel that motivates my friends to work, and in working hard, we will all get stronger and have more fun, which makes the work feel less like work. Fighting games are weird and beautiful, and so are the people who play them. I'm Patrick Miller, thanks for watching. And if you liked this content, please subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitch, and check out my work on Patreon. Love your life, be good to one another, and play fighting games.